Hello and welcome to What the Football. We are back again with yet another video. And before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to all of those that made the Christian Eriksen video my biggest video so far on this platform. It truly means a great deal. So what are we doing today then? Well, today we shall be doing a prediction video, a pre-season, or is it post-season? A pre-season, post-season prediction video on what's going to happen in the upcoming Premier League 2022/2023 season. Because it's great feeling like a genius really early on in the season, isn't it? Or you're just really, really lucky. Anyway, what will I be predicting today? Well, I'll be predicting the top 4, the bottom 3, and the teams that will be fighting for Europe. I would also like to point out that I will be doing an individual prediction list as well. But that is for another video. So keep your eyes peeled on that one. So let's get down to it. And let's get down to, literally down, to the relegation candidates. Of course, 3 teams will get relegated to this season, this coming season. And I think one of them is pretty much on everybody's lips. Yes, it's that team that goes down, comes up, goes straight back down again. Yes, it is indeed Fulham FC. What is it about Fulham in the Premiership? They are literally like that person in a job that literally stays there for like a couple of weeks and then kind of moves on for somebody else to come in and take his position. They are literally temps. They are actually temps. And with Fulham, I can't see any other thing happening other than them getting relegated. I don't think Marco Silva's a particularly great Premier League coach. I don't think Mitrovic, just by him being an absolute goal machine in the Championship, does enough in the Premier League. Yeah, Fulham are going to go down once again. Joining Fulham back in the Championship is, for me, AFC Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth, one of those teams where a few years ago they were a breath of fresh air in the Premiership. But as Eddie Howe started getting money and the wage bill started to get bigger and bigger, Bournemouth could not handle the Premiership. Which is a shame because, they, like I said, they were a breath of fresh air. They do play really nice football. And, you know, they were that team that they were almost like everybody's second team at one stage. A bit like a Swansea. However, they have got a new manager in Scott Parker, a manager who took charge of them last season, and he has got Premier League experience. Unfortunately, it's the experience where he's actually been relegated twice with Fulham. So it just seems more than likely that they will be one of those teams that are going to get relegated. And the third and final team to get relegated. Now, I've had to think long and hard about this one. Really long and really hard.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The team I'm going to go for eventually, and I have kind of changed my opinion on this 2 or 3 times, is Brentford. Now, the team that I was if-and-ahhing against Brentford, putting up against Brentford, was actually Leeds United. So I do feel like Leeds got very lucky towards the end of the season, but they got a few very lucky wins, and I don't particularly think Jesse Marsch is a particularly great coach. Now, the reason why I've chose Brentford is I just think they'll suffer from second season syndrome. I think Ivan Toney will struggle. I don't think Thomas Frank will be in the job, and if you're wondering why I think that, check out the next video on the individual predictions, because there's a reason behind that. But they haven't got Eriksen either, and I just see Brentford just going down. Although if they do go down, I hope they come straight back up again. But unfortunately, I just can't see it. Now, on to the European places. Now, I'm going to go from 7th, which is Conference League, to 1st. I think that's the most apt way of doing it. I think it makes it a lot easier, and I think I'm going to shock people with these predictions, to be quite honest with you. So, let's start from 7th place. And in 7th, I have got Newcastle United. I'm jumping on the Newcastle bandwagon. I think they'll spend money. I think Eddie has done a great job with what he's been given. I think with a bit more careful research, better scouting, and maybe a bit of luck in the transfer market, I do think they'll get decent players. Do I think it'll be enough for a Champions League charge? No. I do think that they'll need to convince a lot of players to come to Newcastle. I think a lot of the players that they want to sign will also be targeted by other teams chasing Europa League and Champions League. But I like what they've done so far, and I do believe that as the years go on, I think Newcastle will get bigger and better in terms of their scouting, in terms of their recruitment. And I think Eddie Howe is in it for the long run as well. I don't think he's a manager which will stay for a year or two. I think he really wants to build something at Newcastle. I think he's young enough to do it. Do I think he's good enough to do it? I'm not sure, but I think for the next 2 or 3 years at the very least, while they compete for European football, I think he's good enough. 6th place, Arsenal. I've got my hands up, Arsenal fans, come at me.
In football terms?
No, seriously, I just don't... I'm going to be quite controversial here. I don't believe this Mikel Arteta hype. I think he got a bit lucky last year in the sense that they only had one game per week. I think they got a lot of really good young players, personally. They have, and I think that's the one thing I'll give him credit for. I remember Guardiola saying that they're one of the teams that actually go at Man City. I actually find this football to be quite dull, to be honest with you. I don't think he's a progressive manager. I think he's an Unai Emery with more attacking, exciting players. And I think the idea of the recruitment at Arsenal, bringing in young players from Brazil and bringing this young English base, I think that's really good. But I think Arteta is a good manager to have before the next manager comes in. So the next manager that comes in, I think he'll have a really solid base to work on. I just don't think Arteta's that guy. Sorry, Arsenal fans. 6th place for me. On to 5th place, and this is probably the most controversial call out of all of them. In 5th place, I have gone for Chelsea Football Club. And I'm going to put 4th place in this as well. I'm going to compare the two teams. I'm going to put Manchester United in a 4th. Oh, shocker, I've put the team that I support in 4th. 4th place is not a good position for Manchester United. It's just a position that we can work on. But there's not going to be a parade outside Old Trafford because we finished 4th. Like there probably would have been had Arsenal finish 4th. They are the levels between the two teams. No, but seriously, to quote Frank Lampard, the reason why I've gone for Chelsea 5th and Manchester United 4th is because I still think there's a lot of problems at Chelsea Football Club, not only on the pitch, off the pitch in terms of the players, but I think obviously behind the scenes as well, there's new owners. We haven't quite got to grasp of what they're going to do yet with the football club. Are they going to spend money, or is it going to be like a money ball situation where they just have to just get players from certain parts of the world on a budget and hope that they're going to become good players? And let's not forget, Chelsea got big problems in defence. Azpilicueta might be leaving. I don't know if Marcus Alonso's left yet. Christensen's leaving, Rudiger's leaving. That's 4 players. That's a back 4 worth of players. That's 4 of the 5 players that Antonio Conte played quite regularly. They've also got Thiago Silva, who's about 36 right now, literally leading the team out in a Zimmer frame. But I just think that with Chelsea, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in certain areas. They'll need a goal scorer. Lukaku looks like he's going. Werner has not proven himself to be worth the fee that they paid for him. Havertz is very good, but is he a false 9 or a number 10? Mason Mount was very inconsistent last year. What about Jorginho and Kante? There's a lot of problems within that Chelsea team that need addressing pretty quickly. And I think Thomas Tuchel is the right man to do it. I don't think there's anybody out there available who's better than him, to be quite honest with you. But in my opinion, they are going to finish 5th, which might mean Thomas Tuchel might get sacked. Because Chelsea kind of bank on Champions League football and a trophy every single season. Anyway, on to 4th, and of course I picked Manchester United. Now, the reason why I picked Manchester United 4th is quite controversial, simply because I put Chelsea 5th, who finished quite comfortably ahead of Manchester United. And of course, as of now, Manchester United haven't actually bought anybody. But I do think Manchester United will buy players. They're always in the position where eventually they do sign players. And let's not forget, every single time they sack a manager, the next season they finish in the top 4 or they've qualified for the Champions League by one route or another. But I do believe there's going to be neck and neck between them and Chelsea. So on to my 3rd place team, and that is Tottenham Hotspur. I really like what Antonio Conte is doing. Before anybody jumps the gun in regards to the Conte Manchester United potential appointment that could have happened in the middle, of course, of last season, I never wanted Conte as manager because I do believe that Conte is not there for the for the long run. I think he's there for the short term. I think he can stay another year or two. I think if the PSG job potentially becomes available and Kylian Mbappe wants him, I do think he'll go to PSG. However, for the time being at least, I think they've done some really good business. I think the Perisic deal's a really good one. I do like the Basuma deal. I mean, Basuma was a player that I would have taken at Manchester United, but of course with the off-the-field stuff with Basuma and another player at Manchester United, I think the reason why he cost as low as he did is because Brighton wanted out of any affiliation with that player. And Tottenham, of course, £35 million, that is a snip for Basuma. And of course, he is innocent until proven guilty. Let's not jump the gun on that one. I really like what Tottenham are doing. I think he's a terrific manager. Do I think they'll mount a title charge? Probably not, but I do think they'll get top 4. Right, on to the big one, 2nd and 1st. And let's face it, there are only 2 teams that are really in contention for this. Well, in 2nd place, I have gone for Liverpool. And it's down to just one thing at the moment with Liverpool Football Club. I still think they need another midfielder. I think I said it before on this channel. I think Eriksen will be a good fit for Liverpool. Because as good as Thiago is, he's not guaranteed to start 38 games a season. And apart from Thiago, there's not much creativity in that midfield. And of course, there's a situation with Sadio Mane leaving the club as well. Will they replace him with Diaz, or will they go in the market and buy somebody else? Personally, I think, midfield aside, I think the deals are done for Liverpool. I can't see them going for anybody else, to be quite honest with you. I think the Darwin Núñez transfer took a lot out of their budget. And I don't think he's going to completely hit the ground running straight away. I do think he'll struggle the first few months. But I can see him getting at least 15 Premier League goals. And I think for a young striker like that to get 15 Premier League goals in his first season, completely different standard of league. Portuguese league to the Premier League, completely different standard. I think he'll take that. In our position Uno, and it can only really be one team after making all those predictions. It is indeed Manchester City. It's Manchester City. Manchester City will finish top of the Premier League once again. And I think it'll come down to the goals of Erling Haaland. I think the fact that he's got a bit more experience than Darwin Núñez will eventually shift the tide kind of City's way a little bit. I still think they need other positions strengthening. I think they need a left back, maybe another midfielder. I do worry about the goalkeeping situation, I'm not going to lie. I don't think Ederson's that good a goalkeeper. I think he very much relies on the fact that the defence is so good in front of him and he can pass like prime Pirlo. He's not a particularly great shot stopper. I do believe if there is going to be an injury crisis in that City team at the back, I think this might be a different story. But with the goal-scoring power of Erling Haaland and the creativity of Kevin De Bruyne and the improvement of Phil Foden, I can't see it being anybody else other than Manchester City. So thank you so much for watching this video. What do you think? Have I got it right? Do you think the top four is right? Do you think the European places are spot on? Do you think I've got the bottom three absolutely bang on? Well, if you disagree, or even if you agree with me, whatever you want to do, please put some comments down in the comment section below. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.